Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 4th. Wait, is that Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, May 4th, 8:38 a.m. The days tend to blend together. Just turned on my charts. I did not look at them yesterday. And I see that oil is under 47. Wow. So let's take a look at news coming out for today. I'm assuming that had to do with the move from the inventory report yesterday, but I actually have not taken a look at the chart yet. So we'll do that together in just a second. Let's start by looking at the news coming out today. I am getting a bit of a late start this morning, so I'm going to try to run through this pretty good. I need for the 4th. All right. So 8:30, we had some numbers come out. We have some numbers coming out at 10 and 10:30. So I don't know. I'm not expecting too much chop this morning. I see a move like that from yesterday. I gotta assume there's going to be a bit of a residual effect today. But so that's just my initial anticipation. I'm expecting a bit of a active morning. So not only did we trade down during wait a second. That move did not happen during the news. That move happened overnight. We've come, wow, okay. All right, let's start resetting our levels where they need to be. All right, value area low. VPOC. So we're going to take a little bit more time to do a bit of a analysis on yesterday's day of trading in just a minute. But it looks like the range of the day for yesterday wasn't as astronomical as I would have thought for, well, all right. And anyhow, sorry, let me finish putting our information on here that we need. I'm looking for positive epoch, which is hidden down here. 4904. Okay. Okay, so the move off the inventory report was 68 ticks. Now, if we look at yesterday's low of day, 47.30, high of day, 48.05. Yeah, I mean, it's only 75 ticks for an inventory day. So that's not crazy. If we look at overnight range, 47.87 to 46.73. Yeah, now we got 114 ticks. So there's 124 ticks. There's a big range overnight. All right, let's see what that does for the open. As far as overnight trading, we are just about 100% net short, and we are very net short. We do have a gap down right now. We'll see if that changes by the time we get to the 9 o'clock opening. Let's go and take a look at our hourly chart. Let's start by watching and looking for levels that need to come off the chart, if any. And there are none. Look, no huge surprise in the fact that once we got down below this swing level here, no huge surprise that the move happened with some force. We didn't have any levels in there to stop us. And in fact, take a look at how well when we make this move, and this move came in on looks like Tuesday in the 2 o'clock hour. Look how it comes down and stops right at this swing down here. Remember, this swing was on the chart already. We didn't put it on after the fact. That is always nice to see. Always nice for me to see. I've always found that of interest. All right, so we're going to keep this level on because we have not yet tested it from below, and then I'm going to just copy and paste this one so I can stretch it out, move it down to yesterday's low. And I'm also going to copy and paste it and use it for yesterday's high. Okay. No levels right now that need to come off from what I could tell. So now let's take a look at where we're trading. We're gonna lose a lot of this information in a minute. It's a little congested. 47.07. I'm almost positive wherever we do our homework today, we will be at a whole different spot when we start to trade, but so be it. 47.07. Let's give ourselves a good 100 and some odd ticks to both sides here. So that's what, about 140 ticks to the top side and 140 to the down. All right, this is good. 47.07. You know, I'm going to start scrolling back here, so we're going to see a lot of negative space. I just want to be sure that there are not levels down here that I missed because I didn't bother going back this far when I put my levels back on my chart because we were so far away from this price. And we see I just added a swing low down here that we didn't have marked off, and we're going to have to do the same here. So we're not going to have much down here. And that's obvious to us because of our composite profile, how there's next to no volume down here. So we know we're not going to have much information in this price point. All right. So let's go back. Let's set this up again. 47.07. And I want some room on both sides here. All right, here comes some. Let's look at some hypotheses here. We are trading in a gap down, so we're outside of yesterday's value, outside of yesterday's range. So first hypo is going to be, oh, sorry, let's get my pen working. First hypo is going to be push up, testing yesterday's low, look for a hold at yesterday's low, maybe yesterday's value area low, and then a turn back down to continue the downward move into overnight low. If we could break overnight low, we're going to look for a push down, testing this previous swing, this low volume node here. We're going to call this hypo 1. Okay. Hypo 2 is going to be a push down to test overnight low. Try to find some support, make a move back up to get into yesterday's range, test value area low, break above, and ultimately make a run towards yesterday's, sorry, my mouse gave me trouble, yesterday's VPOC value area high, overnight high. This is going to be hypo 2. Hypo 3. Hypo 3 is that we take back a lot of the move from overnight. Hypo 3 is a push up, get into yesterday's range, get into yesterday's value area, ultimately break above overnight high and take back some of the overnight move and even some of yesterday's move to come back and test this swing here, one of these two swings. That's going to be hypo 3. That's going to be all we do for oil today as far as hypotheses go. Okay. Let's get this chart out of the way. Bring in the S&P. Overnight, we pushed up here nicely. Let's take a look at yesterday's trading. Pretty well contained, I would say. Low of the day, 75.50. High of the day, 86. So 10.5 points. All right. So value area low, value area high, VPOC, overnight VPOC, overnight high, and I'm guessing overnight low is I don't see my other solid horizontal line. Has NinjaTrader struck again here? I'm just taking stuff off my chart. And that looks like the answer is a yes. All right, that's interesting. That's okay. Oh, wait, here it is, here it is. No, NinjaTrader, sorry, NinjaTrader, you didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Inventory overnight, predominantly net long, almost 100%. In the S&P, that matters to us more than it does in oil. So we are going to be looking for a correction of that overnight inventory. And let's bring in our hourly chart. Okay. So we have stayed in this range here. We are going to draw in a micro composite for ourselves in just a second. No reason for me to have that data or the information from below us right now. Do it like this. Okay. And currently, we are trading above, right? So we're at 88. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so currently we're trading up here. So there's a gap up off of yesterday. So let's do this. Let's mark off any levels that need to come off. Let's get rid of them. So this one is going to come off. So I'm just going to use that to create yesterday's low. Copy, paste. I'm also going to use that to create yesterday's high, which happens to coincide just about with yesterday's VPOC, overnight VPOC. Okay. I also actually need the high of day from Tuesday because since I did not trade yesterday, I don't have Tuesday's high and low marked off, which I would have normally done yesterday morning. And the low from Tuesday, which would have been down here, I would be pulling off today anyway, so I'm not going to bother putting that on. Okay. So let's draw in a micro composite encompassing all of this trading. And let's look one more time where we're currently trading. 87.50, 87.75. Okay. So let's kind of center that. 87.50. And we're giving ourselves 13 points to the top side. And so we'll scrunch in a little more. I want a little more room up there. And down towards the bottom. Okay. That's 20 points up and about 20 points down. That's good. So 87.50. And right now, what we can see. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. What we can see here is that we are currently right at the value area high of this microcomposite VPOC. In fact, what we need to do is we need to take this, copy, paste, and move it up to our microcomposite VPOC here. So, sorry, we are right next to the value area high of this microcomposite. So we're going to look for, at the open, a push up, maybe a test and hold of overnight VPOC. That would actually be a pretty strong hold. And if we can hold there and push up and break overnight high, I believe we are hitting all-time highs today. That's going to be hypo 1. We're going to look for a long on a pullback on the open. That pullback can go as far down, in my opinion, to yesterday's value area high. So this can actually traverse all the way down here before turning and making its move up. And I'm actually going to draw that. So this way, since I don't want to draw 30 hypos, I'm just going to add some more info here to hypo 1. This move can actually come all the way down here. I believe if we hold value area high from yesterday, then we're back into this same concept of this hypo 1. Okay, so that's going to be hypo 1A. All right. Go back to yellow. And hypo 2 is going to be a test up to overnight high, previous swing high, a failure, which will then bring us down into the value area of the microcomposite and ultimately come test this microcomposite VPOC, yesterday's VPOC, overnight low. And if we see a failure there, we're going to watch for a move down to test this microcomposite VPOC and previous swing. That's going to be hypo 2. That's pretty much all I'm going to do for the S&P this morning. I'm really more interested in looking at longs, as I have been for the last few days, than shorts. So let's get this out of the way. What time is it? Okay, we got some time. I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back on before the open. All right, just here before the open, 10 seconds or so. Let's see what we get. What we are looking for is, because we are opening in a fairly large gap down, we're going to watch to see if we get continued pushing to the downside right off the bat, which we just did. Really not all that excited about looking for a long here. I mean, this is a pretty significant downward move overnight. Even though we do have positive divergence, looks like we have positive divergence if we push down to overnight low. I really want to see a more significant setup. So we're just going to hang out for a minute. What I'd like to see on the flip side is maybe a pullback into this consolidation and look for a look for a short on a move, something like that. But really going to have to hang out a little bit this morning before jumping into trades. Definitely more interested in a short right now than a long, but again, that can change. I'm not looking to go short where we're sitting right now. This area, because of this consolidation back here and how it looks like as we were selling, people were starting to absorb back here and price held. I would be okay with a decent setup after the open, another push down, hold, retest, look for a long. Let me draw that so I can make more sense. A push down, hold, retest, and long. I'd be completely okay with something like that. You know, I'm gonna get rid of these large my large sell and large buy little flags here. I'm gonna get rid of that on both of these because those really didn't pan out. I was expecting that to provide us with better information than it has. I thought maybe it would give us some info as to where larger traders are entering trades, and that we can use that as a point of. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do it and talk at the same time, which, as you can clearly see, is not working. Okay, I don't want this one. I was not expecting this to take long to reload. What I just pulled off is really the most data intensive part of it. Darn it. Well, that kind of backfired. Okay. So we've come back up now. We're looking to see, I'm watching to see if we test the upper end of this consolidate. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm looking to see if we test the upper end of this consolidation, the lower end, so the upper end of this one, lower end of this one, and if we come and we test that, maybe we can get ourselves a setup for a decent short. Right around this area here that's marked off as S2, which I could probably get rid of those now too. So just kind of waiting to see what sets up here. 46.93 is the open and high of day. We've come down to 79, so 14 tick range so far. Oh, good morning. So although we had very strong move down overnight, oh, sorry, very strong trading downwards overnight. The whole night was a downtrend. We consolidated down here, and that's kind of what we're waiting on right now. We're waiting to see do we get a pullback down towards overnight low, and in that pullback, do we see positive divergence in the BBs? Do we see order flow showing strength? And if we do, uh, we're going to be looking at potential long opportunities there. On the other hand, we're also looking for a move back up, giving us an opportunity to go short. And now even that can change, depending on how the move back up happens. We'll see if we find the short opportunity, but that could also turn into a. I'll show you. Let me draw this out. We could be looking for a move back up with a short. What I was saying, right around this S2 level. Forget what that means, but I'm just using that as a reference on my chart. Maybe giving us a setup for a move down. But on the other hand, if we get a move up like this and not much of a pullback, we could be watching them to take back some of this, some of the downward move from overnight, and ultimately push back up towards this swing here. So we'll see what plays out. We'll see if any of that plays out. So I am more interested in a short because now that we've gotten down below the 48 level here, I'm going to bring in my homework chart just for a second. Hopefully I don't miss something while this happens. But if you take a look at where we're trading down here, here's our open today, huge gap down. There's really not much below us. I would have to go back and bring on data from well over a year ago to find more levels to watch. So right now beneath us is a very slippery slope. So this is kind of where we were watching for short. It happened a little quickly for me, but this is what we were watching for. This push up here into the upper end of this lower consolidation from overnight and the lower end of this upper consolidation from overnight. Really wanted to see a good setup up here potentially for a short, but that didn't happen there. BBs are not showing strong positive divergence off of this move here. 610 has some, but the 997, 1597 do not. If we traverse back into the overnight swing lows, we do have positive divergence. So it's worth looking at, but it's not perfect. So again, for me, it would require more information than just that. The order flow would have to look right. The price action. Okay, so right now, really nothing happening. I am a little surprised by that. I would have expected more movement this morning. There's a very good chance that we're going to see a large move at some point today, but I will not be in front of the screen for it because it will happen after the 10 o'clock cutoff for me. So keep in mind we have a gap down today of yesterday's low is 30. Our open, hang on, our open was 93. So we have a gap of 37 points down. It's a pretty good gap. We really haven't done anything. To try to close that. So right now, everything to me is reading negative. Not enough for me to just want to jump into a trade. I definitely want to be short instead of long. That can change. But right now, I'd be much more interested in a push up to get short. I don't want to trade a breakout trade here. I don't want to wait for it to break down and then get short. Although that's really outside of my trading strategy, my trading plan. But I could easily see this thing break and push. So really nothing happening here. Gotta stay patient. Okay, so have not yet made that push down into test overnight low. We've stayed into this. We've stayed in this fairly tight consolidation from the open. I think I said what was 14 ticks. So really nothing doing there. I always feel bad staying silent, but nothing really to see. So I'd love to see. Remember, I'm looking to see if we can't get a nice push up for a decent short opportunity. At least that's what I'm looking for now. That can change based. I mean, that could change in a minute based on what happens on the chart. But that's of most interest right now. Fifteen minutes to the equities open, and right now, in my opinion, that can't come fast enough. Maybe that will kind of give us a shot in the arm and start adding some volatility. All right, coming down again. Still no great positive divergence, so I'm not looking for a long here. I still really would prefer a short. Look how flat VWAP is. I mean, that's the definition of consolidation. Really nothing to see here. Probably the next move is going to be a strong one. I'm not saying, it's going to be 80, 90 ticks strong, but whatever side we break out of, usually when we spend some time to consolidate like this, we're building up energy for the next move. So let's see if we get a push down here. We see sellers stepping down here too, coming in at the lows. Let's see how much longer buyers can continue to absorb down here, which is what's happening right now. We see the bid continuously adding on contracts while we're trading at the bid. We're seeing buyers hold their ground here, not not letting it get through the low. Buyers are doing a pretty good job down here. I mean, that's some selling pressure coming in. We haven't done a ton of trading at the low just yet, which is obvious by this low volume node down here at the bottom. We haven't put a ton of volume in here, so there hasn't been a overwhelming amount of absorption down here, but we are definitely seeing buyers hold up. So let's see. Okay, so now we have our push lower. We're coming to test overnight low. Still no long here for me. No negative. There it is. There's that quick push. There's that quick push I was talking about because of how it coiled up. Definitely want to watch here if overnight low holds as resistance now, middle of day, maybe even a move back up into this consolidation. If we do get a quick move up back into this consolidation, I will be looking for a short. But right now, sellers were continuing to come low offer with some size, continuing to put pressure on the buyers. Let's see if this move is going to take a breath or if it's going to continue to push down, not giving us a chance to get in for a short, which is completely fine. I mean, I'd rather be in for the move, but sometimes it just doesn't set up. Depending on how aggressive you want it to be, there were a couple of chances here, just not one for me. So just continuing to put down some pressure here. Let's see if the buyers can actually push this back high enough to get us a decent short setup, or would we have to potentially chase this trade, which I won't do, in order to get into it. About 9 minutes to equities open. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see if we turn this into another consolidation area, right? Just like we did at the open. Let's see if after this move down, we start consolidating, building up energy for the next move. What I'd really like to see, I'd like to see us get back towards this overnight low, even back up towards this consolidation. So starting to get to a point where I'd be interested in looking for a short here. I'd like to see this push higher. I want to see buyers continue to step in. Okay, buyers are stepping in. Now what I'm watching for is going to be absorption by the sellers. I'm looking for a place where we continue to try to buy, but sellers hold and don't allow us to get through. And I do see, so right now we have bids below us, offers above us. but we haven't yet necessarily seen the drying up of buying. So let's see. So we've come to a stalemate here at overnight low. I don't want to get ahead. All right, I'm going to take this short here. What is that? Try to. Okay. And I am willing to scale into this. In fact, I'm pretty much looking to scale into this. But we did see sellers step in right here at overnight low. They've stopped the move, at least periodically. Buyers are coming back in it again now. So let's see if the buyers can push it up a little higher. I would like to get scaled into more. Okay, buyers coming in. Oh, I really wanted that fill there. Come on. Got to my scale in, but never filled me. Let's see if we get it this time. Okay, so we have our second scale. And we'll have to keep an eye out and see where I would like one more. I shouldn't say that. I'd be willing to take one more scale. I don't necessarily want it to come up to scale me in. Let's see, what do we got? 3.5 minutes to equities open. So the reason I'm leaving my first profit target where it is at my 10 tick is because there is positive divergence right now forming, and that came on the back of these strong bullish candles that turn the BBs up. So I'm leaving my first profit target there. If we didn't have that, I would have both my profit targets further down because, like I said, this is the kind of move. This is potential. Hey, come back here. So let's place our second profit target. We're going to front run this swing here by a good chunk. Now, as for the S&P, we are slightly tiny gap up. Hang on, I want to get back over to oil here for a second. Let me just see. So if we're going to have consolidation, what I would look for, what I would hope for, are for the BBs to flatten out a little bit, maybe turn down so that we lose some of this positive divergence in the consolidation. So if the price can consolidate, but the BBs can kind of just slowly drift down, that gives us a much better chance that if we then push to low of day, it gives us a much better chance of breaking through it and making our further push down. But this is coming back a little more than I would have wanted. Let's put in a third scale here. "30 seconds to the open." So we've corrected a bit of the long inventory from overnight here on the S&P. We're back into the consolidation from overnight, right at the overnight VPOC, which coincides with yesterday's high. So we're going to be watching here for potential long opportunities. But I wanted to pull back a little first. There's the open. Right now, VWAP is holding its resistance on oil. Okay, so here we are on S&P, about to close the gap to yesterday's high. We still have a little bit down to go towards yesterday's close. So we're one tick from closing the gap at yesterday's high, so that's fine as far as I'm concerned. I am looking for a long. I'm going to take one here. So we're gonna start a position here in the S&P. I like that yesterday's high held like it just did. If that changes, then I will be considering to add on to my scale or just stay in one contract, because that's really what I was looking to have be the onus for the trade, is the overnight VPOC, yesterday's high, kind of acting as support once we close the gap and then start making our way up here. So I would be willing to add on to a scale, depending on how we pull back. I would be willing to add in here. Okay, so there's a nice push. I'm going to move our profit target up here a bit. So buyer's not really able to push yet in the S&P. And here again, the only reason I'm putting my profit target, I mean, I could put my profit target here on the S&P at my 2 points, my 8 ticks. But the only reason I'm moving it away is I've been saying I like a long more than a short in the S&P. And the only reason I'm not getting it above the overnight high is because we will have, or at least look like we would have, negative divergence. So I want to front run that by a little bit. Where are we in from? 86.75. So we look like we might get scaled into our third position here in oil, but we also might be in trouble in oil. No reason I shouldn't be getting this fill at this point. Okay. But now we have to watch. There's nothing we can really do at this point with oil. We're in our position. We're in our position. We have to manage our risk here properly. Okay. The S&P trade is one that we can actually watch and adjust. We could add on if we feel that that's necessary. We can close the trade if we feel that that's necessary. I don't really have that as much with oil. My thoughts on oil are exactly as they were. In fact, let me get this guy out of the way here. But the S&P trade, that one is a little bit more open for opinion here. We're back to testing current low of day. No real positive divergence. Not adding on here just yet. Oil really, at this point now, what we're watching for is going to be obviously the push down is what we're hoping for. VWAP getting back as resistance, us getting below this 21 EMA, back below overnight low, and starting to make a push further down into the void that we have beneath us. And it certainly is possible for the S&P to go up while oil goes down. We've seen that over and over again. But I'm not usually a huge fan of having diverging positions, but that's just the way it kind of played out so far today. But the S&P trade right now is not exciting me. See, the problem is we have this value area high here, and my hope was that the original reasoning for this trade was to see if the high from yesterday would hold as support. We came to test it, it held, we pushed away, didn't get as large a move as I would have liked, but that was the reasoning behind that trade. Now, if yesterday's high does not hold, and right now it still certainly can. We have not really done much to get through it and push away. If it does not hold, the expectation is that value area high becomes the next level we're going to test. But the problem is that I don't want to add into a position where ultimately my stop loss is like right near. Okay, so we're out of one of our contracts in oil. That's nice. Now let's see if we can't break these lows. And at this point, tell you the truth, I don't really have a reason why I have a profit target down here. I just have one down there. So because I don't have any levels down here. So I am going to be watching for potentially closing out a second of these contracts in oil. Watching these both is actually getting a little bit tough here. I'm going to take a second one here. Leave my third leave my third target way down just to. Okay, so now let's get back on the S&P. Let's keep an eye out for. I am watching this here as a potential support level on the S&P. Nice push further down in oil. We're gonna look to lock in some of this profit here. Well, actually, not really. There's still a long way down. Profit target's 15. So we got 35 ticks in one direction. Okay, we're good. So value area high here on the S&P has held. I am looking to see if this value area high holds as support. If we can tick above this candle, if we can get up to, in fact, I'm probably going to, I don't like the BBs yet, though. So we're holding off. I'm going to get rid of, same thing on this chart. I want to get rid of where it's showing us these large buy orders. It really didn't do what I was hoping it would. I thought that maybe by seeing where larger trades are going off, we would be able to kind of get on the same side as some of the larger traders, but that really hasn't mattered. We've seen so many instances where you get big buys going off right next to big sells, and you get big sells going off right where the market turns around and heads back up. So it's really offered us no valuable information, and I guess this is going to take a little longer than I was hoping to reload too. All right, no big deal. Okay, so we are continuing to make lows here in the S&P. And we could still be watching oil, by the way, for more short opportunities. And we definitely, I mean, we've bounced here pretty nicely. We had 11 tick bounce off of this low. We do have positive divergence on the way down here, which is why I closed out the second contract. But we could be looking for other short opportunities here in oil. Flip side of that is if we do see a push up and then another turn back down, and we don't really see the BBs get in line the way we want them to, or we don't see order flow the way we want it to, we could you could close out the rest of your position as well. Oh shoot, that's what I was waiting for in the SP. Darn it. Okay. So we see how we broke this candle here in this green candle, this bullish candle right now. We see how we broke the previous candle. That's what I was watching for. Okay, so let's look for, BBs really aren't set up all that well, but let's look for a pullback. And what we have to watch out for here, just like what happened here, we have to be careful that if we get into a position based on value area high, the next level we're going to be using is VPOC and overnight low. I think we're going to have to hold off on this one. Unless the BBs set up a little bit more definitively, I think we're going to have to hold off on trying to jump into a long just yet. You know, here's yesterday's close, VPOC, overnight low. There's a lot of levels down here that I can see us coming to test But if the BB's turned up a little bit nicer and set up positive divergence, I would be okay with trying to grab a long up here towards value area high. But that's not what happened yet. If we could get a nice bearish candle here in oil, if this candle can push down a little, I think we might be seeing the setup for the next move down. On the other hand, if we break above here, let's see if we can't fail on this move up near this consolidation middle of the day here. But what I'd like to see is this. I'd like to see this candle tick down a bit more, which could set us up, start building energy for the next push down. Excuse me, here in oil. So that candle here on oil is not not getting bearish. We still have 160 ticks left in there to see what happens. Okay, that's if we can stay down there. Another couple of ticks down in price would be even nicer, a little more of an extended bearish candle, but we're not getting that. Let's see if sellers can start accelerating the move down here. Start getting those BBs turned down. Right now they are reading nicely with positive divergence. So here again, you could, if you're in this trade, you absolutely could look to close out the last of your contracts here because of this positive divergence. I'm going to leave my last contract at break even +1, covering commission costs. Because I could envision a way where you could see again. This pen is not working. I can envision something along these lines for a while, but not actually getting back up above VWAP, back up above overnight low, and then ultimately making it flush down. So I'm going to leave my last position on for now. And there's plenty of time between now and my cutoff, that 10 o'clock cutoff, where that can change. We see the S&P has pushed down to new lows today, so a good thing we held off on that long for now. So in oil, we do see strong positive divergence here at the low, but if we get another flush, those BBs will start accelerating down. If it happens, like see here when we had these string of bearish candles, if that's the way we break this low, you could see, even though there was still positive divergence here, you could see we pushed further. But the positive divergence is actually a little troublesome. I could tell you right now, if we were in more than one contract, I would be closing out another one here. But this last one, I'm going to leave on. It's funny because I'm almost inclined in this oil setup to reverse my position, but that's the only hard part about having this last contract on is that you get a huge offer. Now it might not matter because it's not at the current price. It's away from the current price, but there's a large offer that 400 and some odd. All right, there it's gone. You get a little bias because you're in a short trade. At least I get a little bias because I'm in a short trade. But this is a decent long setup. The problem is I have no levels down here. I have nothing to base this off of other than the fact that it's low of day with strong positive divergence. I'm more interested in that type of trade here on the S&P because at least I have this former microcomposite VPOC value area high. See here again, we've had a level hold in the S&P, but we have not yet gotten our strong positive divergence on the BB. So we're holding off on taking a long there. I mean, there's definitely some obvious selling pressure here in oil. Let's see if the buyers start absorbing down here. And sellers are trying to push down. BB's still showing that positive divergence, but this is what I was saying. If we get a strong enough push down, that positive divergence is still hanging on that 610. 987 has lost it to an extent, and the 1597 has not had it. So let's see what we can do here. Okay, S&P has come to test yesterday's VPOC. Still have overnight low below us, value area low. I mean, we've tested. We're coming down. I am still looking at this to get me a long setup. We don't have one yet. And see this push back up here on oil. I mean, so far it's completely fine. You know, we're in the downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low. As of right now, lower high. And we can see, it looks to me that if we now start turning down and make our next push down, the 987 will not have positive divergence. The 1597 will not have positive divergence. So we would only have it potentially on the 610, but that would only come if we start this next push down. So let's see what comes. So S&P, we had a nice strong candle off of the VPOC, but still no turn up on the BBs. Everything is weighted down right now on the S&P. We're waiting for that to change. Now, what I'd like to see happen is that while we see that on the S&P, oil continues to come down. We get to whatever we ultimately decide to close our trade. But actually, I am going to be stepping away in just a little bit. So unfortunately, I really do want to watch the S&P for that potential turn, but I don't know if I'm going to be here long enough to do it. So here in the S&P, we're not getting a strong candle follow-up here. So this still looks like we're either going to make our way down or continue to consolidate. And again, that could be wrong. We can see immediately a strong candle after that, but that's generally that's what this looks like is happening here. See, so here again on oil, from the what I'd like to see, I really would like to see that turn and move just like this one, because again, that's going to push these BBs down the way I would like. We actually have hidden divergence. Let's see if you guys remember that. We have a lower high in a downtrend with a higher high in the BBs. Okay, that actually is a bearish sign. So not something that I would hang my hat on for a trade, but just another indicator why I think it's okay for me to stay in this trade for now. S&P coming back to test the lows. No sign on the BBs that we should be looking for a long. Here we are now, a tick away from overnight low. Okay, so now we've tested overnight low. And I would love to see some long opportunity. Well, it's not going to happen in time for me. So at this point, there's not much left for me to do here. I will call it a day, leave my trade open, whichever way it goes, it goes. We have our stop loss in, we have our profit target in. Like I said, we just don't have enough time for the trade to set up on the. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe it might set up in the next few minutes, but no positive divergence on the BBs yet. The BBs are still sloping down here on oil. But this is we've tested all the levels that we would like to see hold as support. Even I shouldn't say that there's value area low. We have a combination of swing levels down here. So there's still some more levels that we can see act as support. This right now though is forming into a nice candle. Let's see how it closes. See, as soon as I said it, we see that candle lose its body, right? So now it's come back down. It looks like now it could turn into a bearish candle, right? So that's what so the only reason we don't just jump into trades is without the BBs there being an added level of confirmation. That's one of those things that helps keep us out of bad trades. Tell you the truth, I did not pay attention in hindsight when I entered this trade here, where the right here where the high of yesterday held the support. I did not look at the BBs, and I should have, because that would have shown me that it's probably not ready yet to just jump into for a long. All right, guys, as always, if you want any questions, get in touch. If not, I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.